Can Nebraska be a 50-50 run pass team right now, Mr. Sipple, with its current running back? So they have enough bullets in the gun to be a true 50-50 team with what we know about the current running backs. I mean, what I'm talking about is if they run 65 plays in a game, is there 30 plus rushing attempts in that room right now? And jet sweeps will count in that number too.
Yeah, it's the conversation became more, I don't know, complex or more interesting. Oh, I said the word. More compelling when they stopped running a quarterback, right? Yeah, I think the answer is yes, and I think the answer should be it better be yes. Let's put it that way. They better be yes. Do they have that? I don't know. I mean, think about, Sean, last year. You're asking the question in part because last year Nebraska ranked 96th nationally in rushing. 96th. Not sufficient. Hard to be a power if you're ranked 96th in rushing. They averaged 130.62 rushing yards, which was nearly 50 yards down from the previous year when what? They ran the quarterback. So they were 39th in 2023, but they ran Harburg all the time. So do they have enough? Do they? I mean, come on. What you're doing is this leaning hard on Emmett Johnson. Bro.
Well, like right now, Emmett Johnson was a 13-14 carry a game back. That's what he's been. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the average Joe realizes to go up to 18 a game, how it's a big jump.
Big jump. Because
you're talking about 2 more series a game probably that you're going to be in.
It's a big jump.
And you're talking about, 2 more series where you're going to have more physical carries.
Yeah, it's a lot. He was good. I mean, he was good last year. He averaged 5.1 a carry, which is good. But can he handle that load?
I always go back to Anthony Grant when it looked like he was coming.
And then
they just pounded the hell out of him against Rutgers and Indiana. And
legs got tired.
And they won both those games. But it's like he had 50 carries in 2 games.
And his legs got
and we never saw that Anthony Grant again.
Remember, we'd have those conversations in the press box. His legs look heavy. His legs started to look heavy. If you don't believe me, go back and watch those games subsequent of those heavy load days. Just didn't look the same. We've seen it before. We saw it with Tony Davis's son,
Josh, after the Penn State game.
Yeah, after the Penn State game where they loaded him up. I think he get 30 carries that game?
Like 35.
And he wasn't the same after that.
And they were just like grown man carries. I mean, these weren't finesse carries. No. I mean, it was between the tackles.
And I don't think he was quite the same after that. You can't do that to everybody. There's some guys that can handle it. Josh was a really good running back and a really tough running back and really bulked up to be the guy, but it's still
Rex could handle it, actually. Rex was pretty good at, I mean, the Iowa game, he set the school record in.
Yep.
Corey Ross surprisingly could handle it well.
Those are 2 NFL backs.
I mean, Corey Ross in the Michigan game in the Alamo Bowl, I mean, he carried it a ton.
Burkhead, Ross, 2 NFL guys. Made it in the NFL.
And I would say Abdullah was, I mean,
he could handle it.
You could, like the Miami game.
Amir could handle it.
I mean, think about the Miami game when Amir ran against.
There's no question Amir could handle it.
Well, his final game was that USC Holiday Bowl. And
terror.
They had him return kicks, and he returned like 4 kicks back to the 50.
Amir, I mean, set the modern standard, right? Like the modern. I mean, I'm not saying that's Lawrence Phillips. I'm not saying that's Amon, but he was in recent times. Oh yeah, he could handle a lot.
I mean, Nebraska's been in the Big Ten 14 seasons now, full seasons, and Amir is one of the 2 or 3 best players, arguably, of the. I mean, Levante David for the 1 year, Amir, Rex.
So taking it back to now, you wonder about Quinton Ives, and it's the conversation.
Mekhi Nelson.
Yeah, but let's stay on Ives. Rule has kind of set. I don't know. People are going to watch that closely because Rule has thrown so much support behind him. Like if Ives isn't pretty good, you're going to kind of wonder, like, why were you telling us that? He must see something there.
Yeah, he's doubled down on Ives.
He has tripled down on Ives.
Well, they gave him the touchdown in the bowl game. He had a touchdown in that game.
Looked good. It was unfortunate because they got the PAT blocked and it got lost in the shuffle.
I rewatched that the other night, and between that and the blocked punt. And then I forgot, like, they could have kicked a field goal, like a chip shot, automatic 3.
Okay.
But they called a fake. Remember, they called a fake field goal, a fake punt.
And
They had a punt blocked and a PAT blocked in that game. It was just craziness.
Crazy. But Ives got in the end zone, kid from New Jersey. PAT's blocked, kind of blew the story, right? It was a nice story for Quinton. Yeah. I'm gonna say Rule has tripled down on Ives. So now let's see what it is. 6 carries for 7 yards last year. That's what he had. We don't know. We don't see it over there. I will tell you this: when he trotted out on the field the other day, he reminds me of an old school Nebraska back. It's like Scott Baldwin.
He's tall.
He's 6'2", 210, like 6'2", 210. That's what it needs to look like. Let's just see what he's got. No pressure on him. I'm not doing that. I'm not comparing him to the greats.
Mekhi Nelson's another one, though.
He looked all right to me. His size looked fine. I thought he was a little small in the bowl game, but it looks like he's beefed up a little bit. And then Jamarian Parker looked pretty good. Connor Booth looks pretty good. They obviously feel good about that room, right?
Yeah, it's an impressive potential. There's a lot of potential there. It's a matter of who steps up after Emmett.
And Kenneth Williams runs a 10-4, 10-4. So he's got some zip.
Well, and Connor Booth, I didn't realize he was like full go. I figured I
wondered too.
After his knee surgery that he'd be limited, but he's out there getting after it.
Don't forget about Connor Booth.